Hey everyone, welcome to Play USA. My name's Nicole, here to answer all of your online gambling questions. In today's Tuesday Q&A, we are going to be answering what happens to my tennis wager should the player that I bet on have to retire. But before we dive into today's topic, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, give us a thumbs up, and ring the bell so you know every time we post a new video. If you are a tennis fan, then you are probably pretty aware that one of the 4 major Grand Slams is happening across the pond in England. The Wimbledon tournament is officially underway, and if you have been keeping up with the coverage, then you also likely know that the tournament has been in some hot water over the conditions of the grass. Players have been slipping left and right, and some of the big names have even had to withdraw due to injury. But that begs the question, what happens to my tennis bet if the player I wagered on has to withdraw? Well, there are a few things to consider. 1 is the type of wager that you made, and 2 is the circumstances with which the injury occurred. Let's go ahead and take a look at a match bet first. Now, with a match bet, you are not necessarily determining or predicting the winner of the tournament, but rather the winner of a specific match within that tournament. If we look at the early rounds of Wimbledon, we had 2 back-to-back matches that both resulted in an injury, but sportsbooks would have graded both of those matches very differently. The first one was the earlier one when Federer and Mannarino were playing in a 5th set. Mannarino slipped and fell and could not continue the match and had to withdraw due to injury. Now, if you had bet on Mannarino to upset Federer, sportsbooks would have graded your bet a loss. And that's because almost all sportsbooks tennis rules state that once the first set is completed, any victory or loss, whether it is through the completion of the match or due to an injury, will stand. So even though Federer won because of a retirement, because it was in the 5th set, that bet is graded as action. Now, if you fast forward about 60 minutes onto that exact same court, Serena was in her opening match when she slipped and fell. Now, she got up and tried to continue play, but after a few more points, she had to retire. If you would have bet on Serena to win that match, your bet would have been voided out and the original amount of your wager would have been returned to your account. Now, that's because Serena's injury occurred in the first set of her match and she did not complete the first set. Therefore, the bets were not graded as action. So as you can see, 2 very similar scenarios, but sportsbooks would have graded them very differently. Now, that's a match bet, but what would have happened if you had a futures bet on the Wimbledon tournament? Well, I'm sorry to say, you're out of luck on that one. Most sportsbooks state that as soon as the player makes that first point or participates in that first point, bets on them will be graded as action. So if you had a futures bet on Serena or Mannarino to win the tournament, because they both participated in the tournament, bets on them would have been graded as a loss. The only time a sportsbook will void a futures bet is if the player that you had picked to win the tournament did not participate in the tournament at all. So if Serena or Mannarino would have been injured coming into the tournament and decided to withdraw before the start of their first match, then that's when your bet would have been voided, canceled, and returned back to you. I think the lesson of the day is to make sure that you are reading and understanding all of your sportsbook's rules and regulations before you place a wager, because there are some very complicated situations when it comes to tournament play, injuries, and whether a bet is graded as action or no action. And as always, bet responsibly. If you are a tennis fan, then I hope you will be watching the rest of the coverage with me on ESPN. Good luck to all of the competitors that remain. That about wraps it up for today's video. If you have any questions you would like me to answer in the future, please make sure to leave them in the comments section down below, and I will see you next week.